What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we highlight the latest and greatest cybersecurity news, as well as those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who have made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall in cybersecurity and IT. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
How the hell are you?
Yeah, so we got a good week going on this week. I'm interested to see what you guys have asked me for Ask Us SP because I don't know. Because I haven't gotten those questions yet. So we'll see how that is. But it's our discussion topic of the week. So I went with Apple targeted in $50 million ransomware attack resulting in unprecedented schematic leaks. So the article sounds way more juicy than what actually happened, but it coincided with the recent 420 event where Apple, changed the world by changing the colors of their iMac. I'd say all this in jest. I'm an Apple user. Almost every single electronic device I have, except for my laptop, is an Apple product because I love Apple. But like LeVon, I used to be an Android user, but I just prefer Apple products. But it gets kind of boring. All right, they keep dropping the same stuff in different cases. I am interested in a new iMac though. It is pretty sexy how thin it is. But I also have. My daughter wouldn't break it, but I have two sons that would definitely break it because it's way too thin for them to be on. So it's something I can't buy right now. Because did you see how thin it is? Like they couldn't put the headphone jack in the back because the 3.5 millimeter jack is too long. Yeah. It would basically poke through the screen. That's how thin it is. So they put it on the side. Yeah. I was like, that's super sexy.
Yeah, these are pretty sexy looking. I pulled up the site to take a peek at them.
Yeah, good. So I definitely want one. So maybe I just put it in my room, so I can use it.
That's sexy to you. Look at that price tag, though. I'm like, man.
I know, right? You see the price, and you're like, oh, hold up.
But it's always the same price, though. It's always the same price. Like it's just like we ain't adjusting the price. We'll phase that product out. Because I still have that iMac that you remember I bought when I was in Virginia. I still got it. Really? You know what? They just broke it. They literally just cracked the screen. Because the older one left the headphones plugged into it, and the younger one decided to take a spin in the computer chair with the headphones on his head, snatched it off the desk. So they both got yelled at. But I mean, it worked perfectly fine, and I had it since then. So how many years ago was that? You know what I mean? Like it had to be a decade, and it still works as though it still works like it's brand new. And they keep supporting it. I keep getting the latest OS updates and all that stuff. So I can't be mad. And even though the screen is cracked, it still works.
It's still working.
That initial $1,500 to $1,800 investment I made, definitely worth it. But I guess we could actually get into the topic. So ransomware. So I'm tired of ransomware. Everybody's tired of ransomware. It keeps persisting. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Apple, one of my favorite companies, because I brought up all the other companies and their ransomware scandals to include Capcom and Google and CD Projekt Red, and the list goes on and on and on and on, right? In this case, $50 million ransom, but it was on their supplier, Quanta. So Quanta makes devices for Apple. They're out of Taiwan. They make MacBooks and other products. And in this case, they had schematics for future products, and they've started to leak them. So Apple's like, basically, this doesn't hurt our business end. Like our business operations won't be hurt. They didn't get any personal identifiable information. However, it will have an impact on spoiling stuff. But if it's anything like any previous Apple generations, it's going to be the same damn phone with an extra camera in it. So they're not going to spoil it too much.
Why didn't you tell me that before I switched over? So hold up.
That's
now.
right.
You're telling me I switched over. It's been the same phone since 2007. Is that what you're telling me?
Man, listen, I don't have as many cameras as you have. That's different. I have an 8.
You got more cameras now.
How many cameras I got in the back? I only got 1 camera on the back. You got like 3 cameras back there.
You got like 3 cameras back there.
Yeah, see, things change. You got more cameras. Got all them pixels.
But you only use one of them.
Yeah, I gotta use one at a time. It's like having a car for every day of the week, right? There's only one meal.
Right.
You drive one, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right. But this is something like this never, I guess to this extent, it's never been done before. And it's kind of like the Capcom situation where they were able to leak like the next 4 years of Capcom stuff. But in video games, it's a little different they keep things close to the vest, unlike a movie that they talk about for decades before it comes out. Not really decades, but for several years before it comes out. Video games, they usually talk about them a little bit closer to launch, only because it builds hype and it makes people do pre-orders, and it's kind of how the business works. In this case, I don't know how bad it's going to hurt Apple, because it's kind of the same thing. Apple says, "Hey, here's a new product, and it's available right now, or next week, or whatever." So if you have somebody out there leaking things before they happen, it may hurt the consumer interest. It might take some of the win out of their sales. And we all know Apple's not going to pay this money probably to. They call themselves uh, our evil, but it's spelled funnily, funnily. It's spelled humorously. There you go. Like Resident Evil. So it's R, capital E, V, I, L. So rival,
Yeah.
but it looks like Resident Evil. It's a
Yeah.
Russian-based hacking group. They're also known by the name of, I think this is going to be Japanese, Sodi no Kibo, no Kibi, Sodi no
Oh, damn.
Kibi,
It's
Sodi no Kibi,
it's Russian.
Sodi no Kibi. Yeah, but I didn't sound Russian to me. Sodi no Kibi.
Yeah.
Does it sound more Russian?
What do you say with the accent?
In Russia? Like the Olympics? Like I thought that was Asian. What was the Winter Olympics? Was it Sochi or whatever that was?
Sochi, I think so.
That's in
Mhm.
Russia, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was Japan. Like when I first saw it, I was like,
Oh, because of the way. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Cyrillic is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's all about the inflection. Like you got to put a little bit
Right.
of bass in there or whatever. I'm making fun of these people. They're gonna hack the hell out of me. Hopefully they don't, because I ain't got 50 mil. You can't even get $50 out of me. So you play around if you want to.
That's right.
Like that data's yours now. Good luck.
So, yeah, enjoy.
But yeah, so $50 million, or else they're going to leak the schematics. Most unlikely, neither one of these companies are going to pay for it. It may change things in the future. Like maybe there'll be some change in revision, but I think Apple makes these things so far in advance that I don't think they have any need or want to change their schematics for anything. So if they do leak something ahead of time, best believe they'll deny it. Like, oh, that's not what it's going to look like. And then when it launches, this is what it's going to look like. But
Right.
it is what it is at that point. So I guess we get into the discussion. Like we can take this from any angle you want to, whether it be Apple bashing, or it could be you sick of ransomware, or you want to make fun of some more accents. But this week is pretty clear cut and dry. But what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things. I mean, just like you mentioned, ransomware. We all kind of like, we know what it is. We've seen it in the field now, for like in the news, I suppose, in the last, like, especially in the last year with the COVID and all this. People have been getting hacked left and right with the ransomware getting there. And the sad thing too is, like, I think we mentioned on some other podcasts that some of these companies, they feel like they have no choice but to give these hackers money to get their data back, or get their encryption key or whatever they need to get back to the data. But like you mentioned with Apple and their schematics, I mean, like you said, I'm not sure how much they're like even concerned about the schematics. I mean, for the most part, people kind of know what to expect from Apple, I think. I mean, I guess the new iMacs maybe were a little bit of surprise, but I mean, they're kind of like generally like the same design, but like smaller, I suppose, like thinner. Some like the other like iMacs, but it's one thing the company's gonna have to lose. They're gonna lose some of their intel, I suppose, and maybe people can use that data and build like their own iMacs, perhaps use the schematics, and then they have all the dimensions and all the I know all the components. Maybe it has like a listing of all the components that are used in the MacBooks and all this. They can kind of recreate it, especially if they have enough backing. Of maybe they sell it to some other company out there on the dark web. Maybe they can make some money off of that. But and nonetheless, I mean, it's one of those things that it's been happening for a while now. There's thousands of companies that seem to be, or it seems to be 1,000 companies that have been impacted by ransomware at some point. But hopefully, Apple does its due diligence to make sure it doesn't happen again. I guess it's I think you said, what was it from like it wasn't like directly from Apple, but one of their like suppliers or something like that. Data originated from MacBook supplier Quanta.
Yeah, it's their Taiwan partner that makes
Yeah.
that primarily makes MacBooks for them.
Yeah. And it makes sense. A lot of these like overseas companies that are producing, you know, I guess American components or whatever, American like companies like components or whatever, that I don't know if how much Apple has in control of their like infrastructure and how they secure their data and things like that, but maybe they have to like have a sit down session with Quanta to be like, hey, what's going on over here? What you guys do with our data? How come you guys aren't securing it properly? But yeah, I think that's like, it's to be expected, I guess. The ransomware can affect anybody, but hopefully they can take the proper measures to make sure it doesn't happen again. Or people can just start switching to Google and just avoid Mac altogether, or the iPhones and all that stuff altogether.
There it is.
Like save themselves from the hassle. But I don't think I have much more to say about that. But what you got anything else on this, Shannon? What you think?
So I do actually. I have a feeling that dig was at me. Is it too late for me to come on back home?
As you come back, I can come back to the light side.
No, here's my thinking on this, right? So like Apple is the big dog in this situation, right? Quanta is the one that should be worried. I'm pretty sure they had some type of business agreement that they said that you cannot allow stuff like this to happen, right? Like if you're going to be a manufacturer, if we trust in you to provide a service for us, you have to make sure you're properly protecting it. And I think that business agreement is probably going to be revisited, and it could be a bad thing for Quanta. I don't know how large a company Quanta is, but I can guarantee you that Apple is a good customer to have, right? Like they're bringing in a good bit into your company. So Quanta, I mean, I don't know if they had the 50 million to pay, or I don't know if it was in consult with Apple to say, hey, we do supply this for you, but this is your proprietary information. Like, are we going to pay this or what? And Apple probably was like, no, I don't care. But something that you said, Brian,
that's a rounding error for Apple. So they're like, no, we're not, we got it, but no, we ain't paying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like I can, again, coming to America, this is my pocket money, right?
My pocket money.
But like you said, Brian, though, this is one of those things where Apple, this is their sphere of, this is how they do business, right? Like it's all of a sudden something leaks that they may be coming out with a new product, but you may not know what it is, right? Yeah. So it's like that anticipation of seeing something new. I think the ransomware folks here, they thought, okay, this is how Apple does business, right? And this is what they do. Like they have a conference, at this time every year to show this, that, and the third, and they thought, okay, they're going to pay because we can't let this get out there. Now, Apple, like you said, I think they're going to do what you said. They're going to say, no, that's not the design, and come out and that's the design, right? I don't know if they're going to go back to the lab and try to rework it to be like, all right, let's come up with something different. Or maybe they'll change something, right? They may
put like a little button on that side.
Yeah, the edges may be more square instead of rounded or something. I don't know, right? For whatever the product may be. But I think Quanta is the one that really has to worry here, because Apple is going to let this slide and just be like, whatever, right? Like we'll get by. Like even because here's the thing, I don't think, as much as people anticipate the products, I think it may just make Apple bring it to them quicker if it does leak, right? They're like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to wait a year for this. We'll bring it out in 6 months or whatever, because people will see it and be like, that looks nice. I still want that, right? It's not like these ransomware guys went in there and pulled an Ocean's 12 or whatever and said, hey, we went to the factory and interfered with it, or Ocean's 13, whichever one it was, or they went to the factory down in Mexico. I don't know if you saw this. They had the dice.
I see that one.
Yeah, it might have been 13. Yeah, it might have been 13. But it's not like they got into the production line and said, hey, we made changes to where these products are not going to work right. They're just saying, hey, here's what it looks like. In which case people will be like, I like the way that looks. I'm still going to buy that. And Apple will be like, okay, we're going to give it to you 6 months earlier. You know what I mean? Than what we originally planned, or whatever it may be. Right. And maybe they can't bring it 6 months earlier, but then they'll still be in the same bag as, as these console companies like Sony and Microsoft right now, where it's like, hey, we're trying to give you these consoles as fast as we can. But, we got some people out there not even using them. So we're trying to get them to you. Yeah, we're trying to get them to you as fast as we can. You know what I mean? So Apple is not. Apple is not hurting this because again, the $50 million is a wash, right? And people are still going to want the product if it looks good, right? Like if your engineers did what you're paying them to do, people are still going to go in there and they're going to grab it. You know, they're going to go out and buy it. So, yeah, that's kind of my views on that.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. So what's up for that? The Apple hate, I don't agree with that. Get out here with that. But yeah, I can see it being annoying. It will be annoying, but it won't stop the hype train from going. If anything, they wasted their time because I can see if Quanta was afraid of that partnership being ruined and wanted to pay the money, but obviously they fessed up, so they weren't too scared about that in that regard. And on top of it, Apple was like, "No, we ain't paying for that." Like, it's not something we're willing to, because at the end of the day, if you do give people money, they can still leak the stuff. So
right.
like, it's not
data.
there's no guarantee.
Right.
It's not like in the movies where they tell you it's their only copy and people trust them. It's my only copy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh nah, I don't believe that.
Yeah, because that would be like the WannaCry, like where they locked systems down in the UK, and then I'm sorry, it wasn't like they actually did give them the keys to unlock it when they paid ransoms. It was another company we talked about. I can't remember what it was. Like maybe they didn't. No, the name was undisclosed, where the company paid the ransom, didn't patch, and then got ransomed again. So
that's right.
So you can't. There's no trust in this game, right? You can't trust people who steal. So. In this regard, you get no money, but you just have to leak the stuff off of just GP because you won't be getting any money off of this one. So it is what it is. But I thought it was good. That's a good discussion. I think we got there. I know people are sick of ransomware. Like we're sick of ransomware. It's still a thing. It's still thriving. It's getting worse. Everybody's getting hit with it. And until we can figure out how to mitigate it. Because they didn't say how they got in. I would assume probably a phishing attack or something like that, or maybe it was one of the breaches that came about because of SolarWinds and all that other stuff that hit. So multiple vectors out there for them to get in. But patch systems, verify patches, because we just talked about how they're in the supply chain now too. So you can't just trust a patch anymore. So sad world we live in, right? You can't even trust patches. Just be careful. No matter what you do, like you have to be active. You have to be proactive in this environment. Like we can't just sit on our laurels anymore. So with that being said, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. It's great conversation. Remember, you can hit us up at theothersideofthefirewall.com. That's www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. Somewhere in this video, there'll be a drop down. It'll show you different links and things that you can hit us up at. It's going to look real early 2000-ish because I'm a horrible editor, but you get what you pay for. Ain't nobody paying me. So hit us up on the website. It'll get you to all of our socials. Ask Us SP is this week. Ask us some questions so I can put it on the show and get you the answers you seek. As well as you can hit me up personally. You can hit me up on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, IG, and TikTok at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. And LeVon?
You hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. So y'all take care this week and tune in. Next episode is the rundown where we talk about all the stuff that it necessarily isn't cybersecurity, but it's about movies and video games and study habits that we may or may not have this week. We'll get into that. So everything else on Friday. So would that be easy?
Take care.